Hello guys, Dell304 here. So today we are going to be looking at a bunch of new computers that I've acquired over the past couple of days. So I got a couple of iMacs. This one is I believe it's an early 2009 20-inch. We also have I'm not sure what version this is. It's like a 2006. It's a Core Duo iMac. I know that much, but I'm not sure exactly what year it's from. But that's a Core Duo iMac. We also got 3 laptops, the first being this Dell Precision M6400. This is an absolute beast of a machine. 17-inch workstation from 2009. I'm going to be looking at that. I also managed to pick up this Dell Inspiron 1525. I'll pull that out in a minute. We'll take a look at that one too. And lastly, we have this one here, which is a Dell Inspiron 1440. And this one actually has a really cool display lid. So we're going to be taking a look at all of these today. I have to install Windows 7 on this one, obviously, so that's what I'm doing now. But hopefully, by the time I get through all the other computers, this one should be good to go. So that's cool. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and start with the iMac, because all of the computers are up and running and ready to go except for that one. I went ahead and took care of that beforehand just so I could just make the video about the computers, not about setting them up. So this one is, well, let's go ahead and take a look. Let's see, does it tell us? Yeah, okay, here we go. So this is a 20-inch early 2009 iMac with a 2.66 gigahertz Intel Core 2 Duo, 4 gigabytes of DDR3 RAM, an NVIDIA GeForce 9400M, and I believe it has a 250 gig drive. Might be a 500 though, I'm not sure. Oh, it's a 1 terabyte. Yeah, never mind. Forgot. It's, my friend Chris actually put a 1 terabyte drive in here, which is absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, so there we go. That's that. Of course, it is running OS 10 10.9, so that's nice. This one is fully functional except for the fan, which makes a little bit of a weird noise. But obviously it still works. It's not overheating or anything. But let's see, I am connected to my Wi-Fi, so let's go ahead and open a web page, I guess, just to demonstrate that it does work. Of course, I have this one on my desk just because I don't have any room to put it anywhere else, because I'm just running out of room over here with all these computers. I've even had to start taking some computers and putting them outside the door over there, so my collection is growing pretty strong. Yeah, as you can see, internet works and everything. This one is good to go. Not much more I could say about that, but yeah. So this one was, obviously all these, well, they were kind of free, and I kind of just want to clarify that real quick. I got all of these from my friend Chris, which you all should know very well, but I ended up trading all of these computers for my Google Pixel. Some of you may remember I had one of those, but he wanted it and I wanted all these computers, so we traded. And yeah, that's that. So that's the iMac. Next we're going to go take a look at the other iMac here. This one is a little bit older, but still a 20-inch iMac. Let's go ahead and power this on. We just got this working last night because it did have a bad hard drive. When you boot it up, it just started clicking, so obviously bad hard drive. So I cannot recommend you take apart one of these. It is not fun in any way, shape, or form. This thing was an absolute bitch to work on. I never want to do it again, even though I didn't really do most of it. Chris did most of it, but just looking at it, I could just tell it was a pain in the ass, because you have to pry this open with clips and stuff, and as you can see, we weren't able to fully get it to snap back in perfectly, but we tried for a long time and I just stopped caring. Of course, you might notice a little blemish on the screen. That's because we had a fat scratch right here and we just sanded it out, but it left a couple blemishes behind. But yeah, so this one, let's go ahead and join my Wi-Fi network here. This one is actually running 10.3 instead of, or not 10.3, 10.6, sorry. The other one over there, we decided to throw 10.9.5 on that because I don't have any other Macs running Mavericks, so there we go. This one supports a later version, I believe, but we just decided to put Snow Leopard on it just to be different. I like to have a little bit of, difference with my Macs. So this one is an iMac 4,1 with a 2 gigahertz Core Duo. Does have 2 gigabytes of RAM, 667 megahertz. This one is a little bit older, as you might be able to tell. This one, okay, that's ST, so that is a Seagate, and it's a 500 gig. So, oh, that's what we put in there. I forgot. So, yeah. Other than that, I mean, we haven't set this one up at all. We literally just installed the OS last night, but it was nice to get this thing running because it wasn't, obviously, when we got it. But yeah, there's not much more I can do on it. I guess I can try to go on the internet with this old-ass version of Safari. Probably won't work. Nope, never mind, it works. So, there's the iPhone 7. Anyway, other than that, not much more I can say about this machine, other than it's an absolute bitch to work on, and you should never attempt to repair one of these, because it's really not worth it. But we did anyway. So that's the iMac Core Duo. So next, I'm going to go ahead and do a quick jump cut, continue with that installation, and then we'll take a look at these laptops. Alright guys, so now we're going to be taking a look at this badass machine. This is a Dell Precision M6400 17-inch workstation from 2009. This thing was an absolute beast when it was brand new, and it still kind of is today. Still a very capable machine. But this, I assume, cost several $1,000s when it was new. Of course, we can see it's finished in the blood red color, as Dell likes to call it. That's half of the thing that I find cool about this machine is it's red. How often do you see a red computer? So that's cool. Other than that, I mean, this thing is pretty much top of the line in terms of 2009. Not quite, but it's pretty close. We have a Core 2 Duo T9550, so that's pretty dope. We have 16 gigs of RAM, and I decided to put in a 850 EVO SSD yesterday, so now it has a 250 gig SSD. And it also has an NVIDIA Quadro FX 3700M 1 gigabyte video card. So that's pretty dope. As you can see, it's pretty thick. I mean, obviously this is a mobile workstation, so it's not designed to be thin and light like something like this. But you do have your array of ports here. It does have the slot load DVD-RW drive, which is cool. Of course, we have an SD card slot there, a PC card slot, 2 USBs, audio ports. We have a 1394 or FireWire 400 port, so that's interesting. Kensington lock right over there. The latch in the front. On this side, we just have an express card slot, a Wi-Fi toggle switch, Ethernet. It's probably gigabit, I'm going to guess it is. We have a display port, a VGA port, and 2 more USB ports, one of them being a combination eSATA port. On the back, we just have the power port and the vents for the fan. So, yep, that's that. So this one actually does have a good battery. I'm on a shortage of Dell chargers at this household, so I can't really plug in all these at the same time. As you can see, this thing's absolutely huge. It does have a full-size keyboard with a numpad, trackpad, and track point. We have a smart card pad there. There's the Core 2 Duo sticker. This is one of the last Core 2 Duos, obviously being from 2009, so I think this is a Penryn Core 2 Duo, if I'm not mistaken, I mean. Some status lights up here. Over here we have our power button and a couple of quick shortcuts. This, we have the 17-inch 1920 by 1200 LED backlit display. This thing looks absolutely amazing. The resolution is insane for the size. And right above that we have a creative webcam that I have not been able to get installed because they don't seem to have Windows 7 drivers for it, but I will look at that. Let's go ahead and boot it up. It's insanely fast. Well, it's not insanely fast, but it's pretty damn fast for an 8-year-old computer. Of course, the SSD helps a lot with that. The BIOS was way out of date when I first got it too. It was like A05. Of course, it does have RAID support, but I decided to not do that, of course. So, yeah. Of course, I decided to put Windows 7 Professional Service Pack 1 on it. That's what I'm putting on all these computers, actually, just because Windows 7 is bae. As you can see, there we go. It's not flickering in real life, that's just the camera. But here we are. We are in. I guess it doesn't like the refresh rate of the monitor for some reason. But here we go. So we are in the Windows 7 here. I'll go ahead and pull up, well, I guess I'll do you one better. Pull up Specky. It's a little bit more in-depth. So here we are with the Specky page. I was correct. It is a Core 2 Duo T9550 at 2.66 gigahertz. It is a Penryn socket P, so of course it is a mobile chip. But this is one of the highest end Core 2 Duos you could get at the time. I believe the T9900 was one of the highest, besides going to a Core 2 Extreme, which would be quad core, I believe. Though I'm not sure. I think the Core 2 Extremes are still dual core, but they might be dual core with hyper-threading. Not 100% sure. There we have 16 gigs of RAM. That's pretty dope. This thing does have 4 slots, 2 under the keyboard and 2 underneath the laptop. Those are all populated, so we have 16 gigs of RAM, which is pretty crazy. There we have our NVIDIA Quadro FX 3700M 1 gig card. Then we have a 320 gig Seagate hard drive as a storage drive, and the 250 gig 850 Evo SSD as the boot drive. So that's pretty dope. So I guess I'll again open the web page. You can just see how much space you have on this monitor, which is absolutely insane. There's no internet because I haven't connected it yet. Give me 1 second. There we go, that's better. So as you can see, Google looks positively tiny on a computer like this. Just search Dell. As you can see, you have so much freaking room. It's insane. This resolution is absolutely amazing. The battery on this machine is still good. It doesn't last very long, obviously, being a workstation. It says about 58 minutes remaining, which I'm not sure is accurate, but it does have most of its capacity yet. But I just estimate that it doesn't last more than 2 hours on a battery. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for this badass machine. I'll go ahead and turn that off, and we'll take a look at the next laptop once it's done installing Windows. Okay, so this one has finished installing the stuff. One thing I like about laptops from this time period, like 2007 to 2009, is Windows 7. I mean, obviously this makes perfect sense, but Windows 7 has most of the drivers like built into the OS for stuff. So I didn't even need to install a video driver. I didn't need to install Wi-Fi. I didn't install anything. So that's really nice. I still might, but I'm not planning on using this computer, so I don't really care about, like optimal performance or whatever. But let's go ahead and take a look at the properties. I'm just nighting this thing right now, but we should be able to look at the properties. So, of course, 7 Pro Service Pack 1, standard stuff. We have a Core 2 Duo P7450. So this is also a decently late model, 2.13 gigahertz, 4 gigs of RAM for a 64-bit operating system. I went ahead and stole the 100 gig hard drive out of that Toshiba that's down there. Y'all, I've had that laptop for years, but never used it, so I just stole a hard drive out of it and put it in here. So, of course, we have our Windows 7 disk here. This drive looks a little gnarly. Obviously, this is the original faceplate, I think, but they had to modify it a little bit, or Chris had. No, actually, it's not the original faceplate. Never mind, it doesn't line up. I think this optical drive is from an HP or something, because the original one died. But yeah, when you close it, it lines up decently good enough. Doesn't matter. But yeah, that's this one. It's pretty much working just fine. I like this one. I don't like the case design and everything. This Inspiron is actually really freaking cheap. Like, the whole thing just feels like it's gonna fall apart. It's like the cheapest Chinese plastic they could find. But anyway, it has a really cool top case design. I remember when Dell was doing this type of thing. Make it yours. But yeah, that's pretty cool. Other than that, this one is pretty much good to go. I have no plans to use this or anything. I'm just going to probably put it with the collection. So yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at the Inspiron 1525 now. Alright, here is the last computer, the Dell Inspiron 1525. This laptop actually has a little bit of sentimental value to me because I actually have one video of a computer, this exact computer, not the same one, but the same model, that was my sister's old laptop that I got back in 2011. So this laptop does have a little bit of sentimental value because this one is green, just like the one that I used to have, and it was also my sister's, and it's pretty much the same computer, just a little bit better spec. So obviously this machine, I believe, is from around 2008. Has your standard stuff. I'm missing the hard drive caddy with it, so I just shoved a hard drive in there. A 320 gig WD drive, I believe. All your standard ports that you would expect on a laptop like this: Ethernet, HDMI, I believe that's a mini FireWire, VGA, USB, all that good stuff. It does have audio controls right on the front, which is nice, or audio ports, that is. Microphone, and the infamous Dell SD card blanking plate, which I'm really surprised is actually still in there. No, the Precision still has that too, which is really cool. On the other side, we just have a DVD RW drive, so that's nice. Wi-Fi toggle, PC card slot, S-video out, and 2 more USBs. On the back is just the battery and the vents, pretty standard. So let's go ahead and boot this thing up. I did try to clean this thing up as much as possible, wipe down the whole interior and exterior. It does have some trackpad wear, as you might be able to tell. So this thing was used, I assume, pretty heavily. It was kind of dirty when I got it too, but I went ahead and wiped it all down. Looks pretty decent now. Of course, it's a Core 2 Duo Vista machine, just like they all are. Does have a glossy 15-inch display with a 1280 by 800 resolution. Not that impressive. The battery in this thing is absolutely dead, so that's why, well, just it won't even accept a charge. Of course, my universal power adapter, it does not like that, but it is what it is. Of course, again, I put Windows 7 Pro on this. When we first got it, I decided to put Windows Vista on it just to be, you know, age appropriate. And every time I would try to install a driver, like the video driver or a touchpad driver, it would completely hose the OS. It would just blue screen and it wouldn't boot anymore unless you went into safe mode. So decided to try Windows 7 on it, and of course Windows 7 works just fine. So again, all of the drivers were built in for this thing. It just installed pretty much everything, so I'm leaving it at that. But as you can see, here we are into the computer. Everything still works on it, pretty much. This touchpad is super worn, but it still works and tracks and stuff, so it's pretty decent. So there we have it, 1280 by 800, not the greatest resolution for a 15-inch laptop, but that was pretty much the standard at the time. Go ahead and pull up the specs and we can take a look. So we have a Core 2 Duo T8100 at 2.1 gigahertz, so I believe that's a full power chip. It's not like, you know, the other ones that were slightly less. Anyway, we have 4 gigs of RAM. Of course, I decided to install 64-bit on here for whatever reason. That's what I had. And we have the 320 gig hard drive. It only says 297 because formatting, but yeah, 320 gig drive. And I believe this has Intel GMA X3100. It's not super impressive, but yeah, that's pretty much it. I would open the web browser like I did on the other ones, but I mean, y'all can picture what that looks like. So there we go. So those are all the computers that I received in the past couple weeks. Well, this one I got a couple weeks ago, and all the other ones I just got this weekend. So yeah, thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll see you guys later.